course, we'll take your calls later on at 627-3223, 625-2257. We're talking crime, we're talking culture. We're coming back. We do have Batson Associates online as well, too. All right, we're coming back. Continue to know about crime.
Is typically classified into different degrees based on factors ultimate one. And listen out for a special qualifier segment. We'll ask a mystery question about Antigua and Barbuda. Then right, and your name will be entered into the grand prize draw on July 6th, where you can experience a 3-night, all expenses paid trip to the beautiful islands of Antigua and Barbuda. Participate, qualify, and win courtesy of the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority, Caribbean Airlines, Royalton Antigua Resort and Spa, and the TBC Radio Network.
All right, folks, packed program today. As always, we have Batson and Associates giving you holistic health. Of course, on numbers are 627-3223, 625-2257, and 306-10651 on the WhatsApp. Good afternoon, Mr. Batson, sir.
Good afternoon, Third Base. How are you doing, sir?
I'm okay, man.
Good, great. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to the listeners of Freedom 106.5 FM. Of course, Batson Associates in your company today discussing health, of course, from a natural and integrated perspective, which basically means, taking a number of factors into consideration, root cause, one's hydration, diet, lifestyle, exercise, that type of thing. Of course, today we're discussing autoimmune diseases. We're going to discuss exactly what are autoimmune diseases, who are more likely to have autoimmune diseases, and of course, is there something that you can do from a lifestyle perspective, whether it's diet, exercise, in terms of dealing with the root cause as it relates to autoimmune diseases. Now, when we speak autoimmune diseases, we're really speaking about a class of diseases where the immune system doesn't function optimally as it should. And as a result of that, you find there is some issues as regards to the immune system attacking proper, normal, healthy cells. Now, when you look at the different amounts of immune or autoimmune conditions that they have, we have about over 80 autoimmune conditions, which include things like Addison disease, celiac disease, Graves' disease is also an autoimmune disease. Myasthenia gravis is also one as well. Myasthenia gravis is a disease or a condition where the musculoskeletal system is compromised in the sense that all the things like your tendons, ligaments, different aspects of that musculoskeletal system, which encourages and promotes movement and mobility, is compromised. And as a result of that, you have issues with mobility and whatnot. We know celiac has to do with issues associated with gluten, people who have issues associated with gluten and that type of thing. So how do you really address autoimmune conditions? Where do they come from? Primarily, autoimmune conditions exist in our body where inflammatory response or inflammation is very high. What is inflammation? Inflammation is your body's natural immune response, but it can reach a point where the inflammation is too high or exaggerated in the body. And as a result of that, it now creates an environment that is conducive for autoimmune conditions. Like the examples I gave before. Diabetes as well also falls in a category of an autoimmune condition. So what do we as at Batson Associates do, or what is normally recommended to deal with autoimmune conditions? Primarily in Western or allopathic medicine, your doctor is going to recommend some sort of corticosteroid for you. In some cases, they would use chemotherapy drugs. So the most regular ones in standardized medicine today would be prednisolone primarily. That's the most common corticosteroid that is normally recommended. And its objective is to reduce inflammation in the body. You can also have the introduction of things like chemotherapy drugs like this, which is methotrexate, right? That's what I was trying to remember. And those are normally used. Now, the thing with that is it may be a point about the ends justify the means, but when you look at it long term, you have a number of issues to deal with. And of course, we're not really addressing the root cause of the problem. So how do we start to do that? The thing is, when you're dealing with autoimmune conditions, you have to look at the intestines. And very quickly, what that basically means is that the intestines is where 70% of your immune system lies. Remember, autoimmune conditions are conditions where the immune system is not functioning as it should. So obviously, one has to take the gut into consideration. And of course, there are a number of issues that your gut could have. You have things like leaky gut syndrome, which is where the holes in the intestines are a little bigger than they're supposed to. So of course, very quickly, we're going to take some questions from you guys. Keep in mind that we are live on our social media platforms. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. On YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. And on TikTok, it's Dr. Batson. Our locations and the main telephone number that you could get any of our locations, which is St. James, Davie, Chaguanas, and Tobago, that telephone number is 222-8261. Again, that's 222-8261. And of course, the WhatsApp is 314-9975. Again, 222-8261. And WhatsApp is 314-9975. Any questions as yet, sir?
Just noticed somebody said, yeah, you mentioned about chemotherapy. What do you have to help people with their chemotherapy treatment?
Oh, good question, man. And the thing is, once you're doing chemotherapy treatment, we know what chemotherapy is. Chemotherapy is a category of drugs that is primarily given in oncology, which is for the treatment of cancer. So you have different types of chemotherapy drugs that will be given, cocktails, whatever the case may be. Now, the thing is, with chemotherapy, you normally have some adverse reactions that is going to be experienced by the recipient of the chemotherapy. Some persons, of course, like with everything else, would adapt or they would respond better than others. Obviously, some persons you're going to have serious issues because remember what chemotherapy really does is actually deal with aggressive or fast-growing cells. Hence the reason why people on chemotherapy tend to lose their hair and certain things because those are high or what we call fast-growing cells. The thing is, it normally destroys good cells as well as bad cells, and that's commonly known to everyone by now. So it means that if it is you're doing that, your dietary aspect has to be very serious, and dietary aspect in the sense of from the perspective of a clinical nutritionist, which is one of course, my areas of specialization in that you have, which is food for disease. So it means now that we could actually do a treatment protocol, and I have a lot of clients like that, or we have a lot of clients like that, I should say, where they're doing chemotherapy, in some cases, they're doing radiation, and what we would do is provide a dietary regime, a supplemental regime or protocol to ensure that they do not have too much damage to their intestines, too much damage to their musculoskeletal system, and just help the body to be able to take that type of therapy, God's willing, so that everything is going to be okay with you. Because in a situation with cancer, you always want to stack the odds as positively rather in your favor, and nutrition and dietetics is going to help you in that situation. You can't have cancer and worse yet be doing treatment, whether it's chemotherapy or radiation, and not paying attention to what you put into your body. Dietary wise, it is very, very important. So if of course you need some assistance in that particular area, we do protocols, we do consultants for nutrition associated with cancer, right? Because that nutrition has to be specific and targeted in terms of maintaining gastrointestinal function, helping to keep your bones healthy, helping to also keep your your endocrine system healthy as well as your glands. So things like thyroid, parathyroid, because you don't want subsequent to that now, you end up with more problems because cancer has a tendency, regardless of what type of cancer you have, and even if surgery has been done. So example, let's say you may have a female and she has, or general, you have colon cancer or colorectal cancer. You might have a colon resection done where they actually cut off piece of the intestines or the intestines that may have had the cancer metastasized to that particular area. The point is, usually cancer tends to come back in the gastrointestinal system, it tends to come back in the lungs, it also tends to come back in the bones, the musculoskeletal system. So again, that is why those protocols are important, and dietetics is important. Your hydration, high nutrient dense greens in your diet, those type of things, to actually help the body, to combat and regenerate itself. So if you're interested in that at all, you can, of course, give us a call or visit. That telephone number again for the Chagonas office is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Let me just say a pleasant good afternoon to our listeners on our social media. We have Miss June Jatan. Good afternoon to you. Miss Felicia James says good afternoon. Miss Sharon Theodore, pleasant good day, Dr. Batson, and to all the listeners. And keep in mind, you can like us, follow us, and share us on our social media. We have a lot of content there. You could get information on the products, the services of Batson and Associates. And of course, a lot of the previous lives that would have been done like this one. So of course, you could listen in your spare time and get the necessary information that might be able to assist you. So that number again, 222-8261. That's 222-8261. You're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Executive Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. You could just remind them of the telephone. Oh, you have a question, sir? Go right ahead.
What would you recommend for detox?
Detox. Okay. So before I answer that question, let's speak quickly about why you need to detox, or is there any relevance or sense in detoxifying? And of course, the answer is yes. Some years ago, and there are still a lot of people in the medical community that believe that your body detoxifies itself. That is true to an extent. However, it is not completely true in the sense that when you're looking at detox, first of all, you have to understand the way your body functions. Basic anatomy and physiology. You have 7 channels of elimination in the body: kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. So that's 7 areas in which the body uses to eliminate waste. Sweat, we know, carries the highest amount of toxins, usually because sweat can carry more toxins than, so your perspiration or when you perspire, than urine as well as defecation or stool, right? So usually sweating is a very important thing. So you'll hear a lot of people say, hey, I do sweat. Now, if you don't sweat, that might be a little cause for concern in the sense that maybe you're not as active as you're supposed to, and you need to make some changes as regards to your activity. It doesn't have to be anything major. You get a good pair of shoes and you walk, some brisk walking. You don't even have to go out of your yard. If you have sufficient space in your yard, you walk, you make some laps around the yard, or you just go maybe from point A to point B, maybe 10 times, 15 times. You go gradually as time go along. You could even do it in your house as well, depending on the size of your house. If you have stairs, you just go up and down the stairs. Stairs are actually a very good way to exercise because it does encourage a lot of respiratory exchange of oxygen, a lot of breathing and that type of thing, which is always very good for the body. So in that particular situation, that's why detoxifying is so important. As regards to what I would recommend generally, there's a product we carry at Batson Associates called Santulan, which actually means balance in Hindi. It's a product based on Ayurvedic medicine, which is medicine out of India primarily, where they look at balancing chakras, you look at your energy, different aspects of medicine. And the Santulan does that 7-channel detox: kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. The advantage with that, obviously, is that you now free up these organ systems so that they're able to function better, especially the gastrointestinal system. So that's what I would normally recommend. We do carry that at Batson and Associates. If the person may have additional needs, Like, for example, you may work in oil and gas. You may be someone who does welding, whether it's arc and acetylene, TIG welding. You might be someone who is involved in jewelry making, or you may be a hairdresser. You may be working in a gas station. You know, when you work in certain environments where your toxic overload is higher, or your exposure to certain chemicals are higher, it means that your detox, of course, could be tailored and be a little more to actually include things like heavy metal cleanse detoxes. Santulan does touch on some aspect of heavy metal, is also serious as it relates to gastrointestinal. Some probiotics, prebiotics in there as well. So it would help in bringing back some balance to the gastrointestinal system. So people who have problems with things like GERD, which is gastrointestinal reflux disease, if you have acid reflux, if you have serious bowel conditions, like inflammatory bowel conditions, like maybe Crohn's, irritable bowel syndrome, diverticulitis, and the like, well, then in a case like that, we wouldn't necessarily recommend Santulan first. We would most likely recommend you use the Alkagen water. We get some oxygen into that system, and then we can do a protocol for you. But it all starts from being evaluated properly, and whatever blood test you may have, we do normally recommend that you bring it along with you. So you complete your CBC, your liver profile, your lipid profiles, if you would have done ESRs, because once you're dealing with inflammation, your doctor should recommend an ESR or a C-reactive protein blood test. ESR is erythrocyte sedimentation ratio, and that is going to give us the level of the amount of inflammation in the body. And of course, we now have empirical data to now work on, and then, of course, do our follow-ups subsequent to that. So that's something you could take advantage of. Keep in mind our live blood analysis, our dry blood analysis, and that magnetic resonance analysis that comes in that entire executive health package that we have. Very, very informative in terms of the information that we get when we perform those tests, because again, it gives us an overview of the body from its holistic perspective, and then you're able to, you know, make the necessary changes. So regardless of your issue, whether you have problems with headaches, diabetes, arthritis problems, you have problems with your skin, things like psoriasis, atopic dermatitis, the objective, again, is always to deal with the root cause of the problem. And that, of course, you can get done at Batson Associates. That number again, 222-8261. For the Debe office, that office is located on the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That telephone number for Debe is 223-7515. Again, that's 223-7515. And of course, it have persons there standing by to take your calls and whatever information you might require. Okay, sir.
Another question here. Good afternoon. Can you help me? The bottom of my feet keeps paining. Sometimes it feels like there's a burning sensation.
Good question. Actually, this morning I was doing a program on a next frequency, and that was one of the questions. Someone had called and asked about neuropathy. The thing is, neuropathy is nerve damage. The thing is, you can have neuropathy and not have diabetes, but you cannot have neuropathy and not have poor circulation. So I'll repeat. So if you have neuropathy, which is nerve damage, which would give you symptomology like pins and needles, cramping in your calves, burning on their feet, you feel as if you're walking on air, or you feel as if you're walking on water, right? That, of course, is signs of neuropathy. The crucial point I'm making is that there's diabetic neuropathy, because most diabetics do end up with neuropathy because of their compromised circulatory system. However, you do not necessarily have to be a diabetic and have neuropathy. You cannot be a diabetic and have neuropathy, but you would have poor circulation, because poor circulation would have to come before neuropathy. So it would mean that you're not getting sufficient systemic circulation. You have two types of circulation primarily in the body. Pulmonary circulation is above your heart. Systemic circulation is below your heart. So if you have poor systemic circulation, you would experience things like pins and needles, cramping your calves, burning on their feet, deep vein thrombosis, those type of things, right? And at Batson Associates, we deal with that. But to fix that problem, you must fix your poor circulation issue. And that is something that we do as well at Batson and Associates. You could always check out the products that we carry. We have a circulation tea, which is a very good product, very highly rated and recommended. We never have in stock. And what that does is actually help to cleanse and tone the blood vessels. The thing is, the lining of your blood vessels, all blood vessels are lined with cells known as endothelial cells. And endothelial cells play a significant role in something known as nitric oxide. Now, if you are a race enthusiast, you will know that if like NASCAR and these fellas and them, they use nitrous. There's a reason why they do that, right? That actually gives the vehicle the opportunity to actually accelerate further and that type of thing. Nitric oxide is the body's natural vasodilator, which means it causes your blood vessels to dilate, which is actually open and close. So it could cause vasodilation, which is opening of the blood vessels, and vasoconstriction, which is closing of the blood vessels. The thing is, the lining of those cells become compromised a lot of the times. And that's one of the things that the circulation tea actually helps with. And that's why diabetics especially need to pay attention to that. So you could check out these balanced circulation tea, Santulan, Alkagen water, and you could all, of course, check out, there's a product we carry called Optimizer as well. Optimizer actually helps with pulmonary circulation, which is circulation in the brain. So if you have problems with dizziness, lightheadedness, blurred vision, that type of thing, that's the angle that or the direction that you need to go, because that's an indication of poor cerebral circulation or poor circulation in the brain. Okay, so again, that number again, 2228261. That's 2228261, and WhatsApp is 3149975. Over to you, sir. Any questions?
Yeah, no more questions. That's it for now.
Okay, you could just remind them of the number again, please.
All right, of course, 627-3223-625-2257. And of course, WhatsApp messages 306-1065.
Okay, great. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon again to our social media. Keep in mind, you can follow us, like us on Facebook. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. On YouTube, it's Batson and Associates Trinidad. And on Instagram, it's Dr. Batson. And let me say a pleasant good afternoon to Miss Stephanie Seeley. She says, good afternoon. Can I have the number for your Tobago office? That number for Tobago, that office in Tobago is located in the Triangle building. That's in Scarborough, Tobago. That number for Tobago is 226-4553. Again, that's 226. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any are you under medication or suffering from any other ailments? Things like diabetes, hypertension, anything like that?
No, I'm not.
So you're not using any medication right now?
Yeah, I think that tablet is called
Okay. And how long are you using that now? Yeah, and that, yeah, I know exactly what it is. Okay. And how long are you using that now? No. I was asking. No. I'm just asking how long you're using it. So is it that you're using it a year now, a month now, 2 months? Give me a time. About a year and something now. Okay, good. So you can listen off here. I'll explain. All right, sir. You're welcome, sir. Okay, so the thing is, if you have been recommended, a medication, that's why I asked the question, for anything like anxiety, any, depression or anything around that, because those types of medication are usually generally the same, depending on, generally. It means that your central nervous system is basically giving you some kind of response, especially if it is you're getting, like you say, you feel like a sort of shock or a zapping situation in the head. I believe it is, you said, maybe intermittently and that kind of thing. That's your nerves. So the thing is, your central nervous system may need some addressing. One of the things we realize with a lot of persons as it relates, so when we talk in central nervous system, we're dealing with the entire neurological system in the body, which primarily has to do with your autonomic nervous system, which is sympathetic, parasympathetic, and then your general central nervous system in its entirety. The point is, whenever you have imbalances in those systems, you start to experience certain things. So you experience problems with sleep. You start to experience problems with anxiety. You start to experience problems with depression. Now, the thing is, a lot of persons have anxiety and depression and don't know they have anxiety and depression simply because there's something known as functional depression, which most people suffer from. And what functional depression is you're depressed, but you could move around. You could, you could go to work, you could still function in society, and persons may not necessarily pick up on it. It's only when your depression starts to increase and gets really worse where you actually start to isolate yourself. And, in some cases, people don't want to be, it becomes really bad. Then it is quite noticeable, and then, people might come to your aid. The point I'm making as regards to the question is you definitely have some central nervous system imbalance there. I am not one of the greatest advocates of, keeping persons on certain types of medication for extended periods of time, simply because I believe better could be done, especially if you address the root cause of the problem. Of course, I'm not saying not to take a medication. I will never say that. But what I'm saying is that if you have problems with anxiety to the point where medication has to be recommended, then it means your body is telling you that something is seriously wrong. And if your body is telling you something is wrong, then you need to work out what is wrong, and then the ultimate goal should be to correct it in its entirety. And nerves in general, and this for the general listening audience, especially when you're past the age of, when you start past 50, you have to pay very, very close attention to your cognitive function, your nerves, your memory, and those type of things, especially now, because what they have realized, and I was just looking at an article recently, it was an article, it was a study that they did, that came out from Harvard University. And one of the things that they were actually showing is that they realized that there's a significant decrease and decline in cognitive function. We have a lot of persons now who have things like vascular dementia, a lot of persons who are experiencing Parkinson's disease, a lot of persons who are now experiencing even Alzheimer's, and much earlier than before, because sometimes some years ago you'll find persons 75, 80 years with that. Now we actually have persons in the 30s and 40s that are being diagnosed with vascular dementia, which is early forms of Alzheimer's and confusion associated with cognitive function, memory, time and place, and that type of thing. So you need to pay attention to yourself as regards to that. And that is something we do at Batson and Associates. When we do the magnetic resonance analysis scan, one of the things we always look at is the amount of blood flow that you get to your brain, or what is referred to as cerebral circulation, which is very important. So if you're experiencing things like blurred vision, your memory, you see short-term memory, you're starting to forget where you put down your keys, where you went in the fridge for, you're starting to experience, you're putting things that in the cupboard, supposed to be in the cupboard, in the fridge, and in the fridge. Well, things start to get real bad with you there. That's your body telling you, hey, listen to me. Your nerves are becoming wrecked. They're not as nourished as they're supposed to. You need some sort of cleanse in the body to actually start to correct those things. So, you could actually come to us, have a consultation, and let's try and see our best how we could correct that. But the thing is, insomnia, anxiety, and the thing is, you can't have anxiety and not necessarily get panic attacks. There are some people who have anxiety and they get anxiety and panic attacks, which makes it even worse. But as I said, that has a lot to do with the nerves, and the body is telling you that the nerves need certain things to be addressed. Okay, so you can feel free again to visit us. That telephone number again, for the head office, which is Shogunas, first floor Money Talks building. That number is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsonwood Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That telephone number is 223-7515. So, pay attention to yourself based on what we're discussing here, look at those things. Is it that you're experiencing blurred vision? Is it that you're having frequent headaches all of a sudden? You realize that your short-term memory is giving you a problem. You're finding not as sharp as you used to. Yes, we're getting older. We know that. Nobody's saying no. But the thing is, the deterioration of a lot of persons' health in the Western world, that deterioration is a little too high. And it is cause for concern and means that we need to address certain things. So again, you could... Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Exactly what the doctor said is exactly what I am suffering from. Everything he says there, everything. And I have one on.
No problem. Yeah, the telephone number, well, we wouldn't use the word cure, right? That's the lawyer word. We don't use that word at all. We use the word reverse. So what you can do, that telephone number for our head office, which is 222-8261, 222-8261. They will let you know. I have consultants who work with me. I just do review as the executive consultant. So I'm going to do your review, but they would, with those numbers you can call, and that could be set up at a particular date and time for you. Okay, sir? Yeah, the dizziness. I know exactly what it is you're going through. Yeah, you don't worry. We could sort that out, man.
All this thing is coming what I will nice.
Okay, good. All right. So give me a call and let's sort that out for you.
I also have another question here, man. I am 65 years old and I'm getting trouble falling asleep. I don't sleep any day. I don't get sleep.
How old is it there? 65?
65, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is,
help me. Next morning I feel all messed up.
all messy. Yeah. Sleep is, I tell persons, the reason why we sleep from the perspective of anatomy and physiology is basically to rejuvenate or renew neurotransmitters in the body. So if you're not getting sufficient sleep, it means that you can't renew anything. Some studies show that, driving sleepy is worse than driving drunk. That's to tell you how, if you're sleep deprived, how it really affects your body. I remember there was a study they had done some years ago. I think that was Harvard to a Yale, one of those universities. And one of the things that they found is that people who work night shift, where you actually lose early morning sleep, early morning, i.e. as in from 12 to 6 o'clock, they say that you actually shorten or can shorten your lifespan anywhere between 7 to 14 years. So that's just to tell you how important good sleep is. At Batson Associates, we carry a product. We don't have it in stock right now. It's actually Nerve Restore. We usually have a lot of demand for that product. We should be getting by next week, please God. But what it does is actually helps to fix sleep in the sense that it does not make you sleepy. So it doesn't work like how sleeping tablets would work. So it doesn't have sedative properties where it actually literally puts you to sleep. What it does is actually assist the body to correct its sleep cycles, because you have a cycle in sleep. You have REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep, and you have non-REM sleep. You cycle into different aspects of sleep, REM sleep and non-REM sleep, every hour and a half. The thing is, most people's sleep cycle is off, and then they don't get that deep sleep that is required. And again, that is something that we could fix at Batson Associates. Usually it is a hormone deficiency or hormone issue, which is actually triggered by endocrine problems, because remember, your endocrine system is actually what controls your glands. So that is why a lot of persons have problems to sleep. But if it's you want to sleep, and you figure and you're not sleeping for years and you want to give us a challenge, I have no problem with that. The thing is that once we're able to make the correction and we determine the root cause of the problem and the necessary change, because a lot of persons, for example, do things that actually make this situation worse. Sugar is a perfect example, right? Now, so sugars, a lot of soft drinks, a lot of juice. The coffee drinkers, who don't like you to talk to them and think you're trying to kill them when you tell them to drink too much of coffee. But coffee is a diuretic and a stimulant. You cannot have that too much in your routine. It is going to have irreversible effects on the human body. So, you have to take those necessary things. And of course, we need to look at it, examine it properly, and then make the necessary recommendations, right? So it's not like maybe a hard and fast rule, but there is some change that needs to be. And it's obvious you can't make changes and then actually be having sugars and coffee and certain types of food in excess in the diet that actually adding more inflammation to the body. That's not making any sense. As the old people used to say, you're spinning top in mud. You're not going anywhere. Okay, so again, keep in mind we are live on our social media platforms. We are Batson Associates Limited on Facebook. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to Miss Pat Travis Ashton. She's actually listening to us from South Florida. Pleasant good afternoon to you. And of course, to the listeners of Freedom 106.5 FM, feel free to give us a call again or get that information on your blood analysis, your live blood, dry blood, that entire executive package that we offer. And that number again, you can give us a call on 222-8261. That's for the Shogunas office. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Wood Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That number for Debe is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That number for St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And of course, Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number is 226 4553. Again, 226-4553. You're listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. As we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. To the base, always a pleasure. To the listeners of 106.5 FM Freedom, thank you for your time. Be safe and do enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Take care, sir.
All right. Yeah, man, you've been listening to Batson and Associates right here on Freedom 106.5 FM. We take a break and we come back with For the Love of Country.
Weekend at Jazz presents Thursday Night Jazz all month long at Cafe Blue with international singing sensation Charmaine Ford. Every Thursday night, prepare to be entertained featuring the best.
Yes, guys. So we just finished our program on the Freedom 106.5 FM. Really good program, actually. I was able to cover a lot of things there. To our social media, Miss June Jatta and Honey Bay as well. Always a pleasure with all the hearts and the love. She says, hi, Doc. Hi, Shakil, staff and viewers. Cindy Hoyt, my darling. Right, Miss Felicia James, Miss Sharon Theodore, Josie Smith. Sharice Williams says, hi, Dr. Batson. I love your motto concerning health. Keep it up, Doctor. Blessings after blessings. Thank you so very much. Stephanie Seeley says, hello. Miss Abigail Whiskey says, good afternoon, Dr. Batson. My son is 5-year-old, has a constant fever and complains of weakness in his foot. What would you recommend? I've been using Panadol syrup for the fever. The thing is, if he's 5 years, and Abigail, if he constantly gets sick or has issues with, always have the cold or runny nose, that type of thing, then definitely you need the silver with the mineral formula and the inflammation formula. That's going to help really, really good. Okay, Miss Mona Medina, of course, always a good day to you. Mr. Darren Horsford, he says, good afternoon. I sweat plenty. Hyperhidrosis. Yeah, well, sweat is normally, if you have excessive sweating, there's a central nervous system problem. There's your autonomic nervous system. People who sweat plenty in their hands and their feet and that type of thing. All right. Annabella B, share the live, guys. Tag 5 friends and follow. Thanks so very much. With Kathleen Ishmael, this is definitely a beautiful blessing. Always, my dear. Annabella B, Tobago close today and tomorrow, guys. Okay. We have some stuff that we are actually organizing in that office. So I'm going to get some feedback on that for you. Miss Felicia James, water. When you're drinking water, drink water. Not water with anything inside it. That's not water. Melissa Richards, good evening, Dr. Batson and everyone. I need to see you. Yes, that's me. Forgets a lot. No problem. You could always call the office. That number again for Shagonas is 222-8261. Melissa Richards said, yes, I get panic attacks many times. Yes, headaches a lot too. Ms. Sharon Theodore, good day, Dr. Batson. My friend has stage 4 cancer. What can she use to build her immune system and reverse the cancer? She has some work to do. You need to look at the diet, nutrient-dense greens. They have to look at, and what type of cancer it is as well. How much water do they drink? That's something you also need to pay attention to. Ms. Pat Travers Ashton, of course, our client listening there from South Florida, Ms. Janelle Bartholomew. I joined late. Blessed. Good day, Dr. Batson. Thanks so very much. Nichelle Patton Morris says, good afternoon, Dr. Batson. Is there any recommendation for periodontitis disease? Yeah. A silver with mineral formula will help that. The advanced chlorophyll, the inflammation formula will also help as well. Okay, so guys, that brings our program to an end. Of course, join me in maybe about the next 15 minutes. We'll be going over to djmamuradiott.com, where we'll join DJ Mamu, and we will be having a discussion for the next hour. And of course, we'll be discussing health again from a natural and integrated perspective. Abigail Whiskey McCain says, thank you, sir. Would visit your daily office soon. Great, no problem. Ms. Janelle Bartholomew, my dad will be visiting you soon. Okay, great. Looking forward to it. Okay, guys, so stay blessed. And of course, those of you who can join us at 2:20, we'll be joining DJ Mamu on djmamuradiott.com for an hour, and we'll go from there. Take care, guys. God bless. Be safe. Keep in mind, remember, again, we are live on our social media platforms. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. On YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. And on Instagram, it's not Instagram, my apologies. On TikTok, it is Dr. Batson. Take care, guys. Of course, keep in mind our special that we're having for Father's Day. And we will be joining you where we have a gift. So you could give Dad a gift of good health. We're continuing that until the end of June. So that's something that you can pay attention to. Okay, guys, stay blessed and do enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We join DJ Mamu Radio, tt.com, at least by 8:20 p.m. Take care, guys. Bye.